Welcome back, sketchers. Today I'll show you how to draw water in 4 different styles. If there's anything you don't understand, please leave comments down below. But without further ado, let's dive straight into the first one. Style 1. Ocean waves. To do the first style of waves, all we've got to do is just sketch out an elongated triangle using the side of your pencil, generally using a thicker pencil like 5B, 4B, and just make a triangle which looks somewhat like this. And then keep doing more triangles around this, but then make sure you leave space between these triangles. We never want them to meet, or at least not right now. Water is also something that's entirely organic, it's entirely natural, so make sure to make them varying sizes. So some of these triangles are quite big, some of them are small, some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. And do these in varying locations as well. These types of waves will be perfect in things such as oceans and rivers. Once you're happy with your wave formation, simply go over this again with your blending stump or your finger and make sure that all of the waves are smooth. This might not be necessary if you've used a lighter pencil, but if you use a darker pencil that I have, it's probably best to go over it with a blending stump. We are now going to do what we said we weren't going to do, and that is to combine some of the waves together. And the reason why we're doing this now is because this will create the effect of another current moving through the existing current that we've already drawn. It also contributes towards the varying wave sizes we already talked about at the beginning, and allows for more wave size and shape variation. What I now want you to do is, in any empty space that you see between all of our waves that we've drawn, using a light tone, sketch in between each of these waves, but still making sure that there is a gap between what we're sketching now and the waves that we've already drawn. If in doubt, please look at the screen. And you want to do this for every single wave. Next, we're going to then press much harder, and this is the darkest we've ever been. We're going to sketch in between the dark and the light areas that we've done on the wave. And we're going to sketch a shape which essentially takes the shape of the entire section. This is really hard to explain, so once again, please do look at what I'm doing, look at the top corner, and that will probably explain it better than I am. And now get a blending stump and blend together to create a smooth transition. Last but not least, working at the lightest we've ever been working at so far, we're going to sketch in between all of the waves, all of the white bits that we haven't sketched in. Apologies for any background noise if you hear it, but once you've done that, we have done the first style. Let's move on to the next style. Style 2. Tranquil water. To do this style of water, all we're going to do is press down lightly, or use the side of your pencil, or use a light pencil to make small little streaks using a backwards and forwards motion across the page in a straight line like this. No more triangles this time. And then do this again and again and again at varying sizes, just like last time. As the name suggests, this style of water is best for more calm bodies of water, such as lakes, maybe ponds, or just some sort of body of calm water. And then blend the waves together. Then towards the centre of any large waves, go back over with a dark pencil and make these areas darker, like this. And lastly, we're going to join the waves together, but this time, we're going to use a much lighter pencil this time to connect the waves together, as the current isn't as strong here. And once you're happy, we can move on. Style 3, Far Distance Water. To start off this style, we're going to basically do what we did last time, and that is to make small, elongated triangles at varying lengths, at varying sizes, and at varying positions. Unlike in the previous style, we need to draw these waves in clusters, and these clusters also need to vary position, and you also need to be varying sizes. And when I say varying in sizes, I mean the amount of waves there are in the cluster. Just like the first style, these types of waves are best for large bodies of water such as rivers and oceans, and any just zoomed out view of water. As you can see, the first cluster and the second cluster are similar sizes, but the third cluster is the smallest. Keep on drawing more clusters until you're happy. And once you are happy, we're going to do the same thing that we did in the previous two styles, which is to get a blending stump or your finger and blend together to create one smooth tone. Whilst clusters were important to start with, water still consists of waves in all areas. So we're now going to draw even smaller waves in between these clusters, still varying sizes, shape and length, but this time to fill in the empty spaces. And just like last time, we blend. To give the waves a bit more dynamic, find waves that are close in range of each other, like the ones here, and sort of connect them together by shading using the side of your pencil. And once again, make this as random as possible, so maybe you might join 5 waves together, maybe you might join just 2, maybe you might join small waves together, large waves, but just make it as random as possible. And this will give it a really much more natural looking effect. It's really starting to get along now. The next step is to get the side of your pencil again, or a light pencil, and just shade in between every single wave at a consistent tone, like I'm doing here. And now for the last but probably hardest to explain part. We're basically going to find the groups of waves that we join together, and we're going to basically draw another sort of large wave which sort of overlaps all the waves that we've joined together, kind of like I'm doing here. If you don't understand, look at the top of the screen, that will show you what I mean. But that's basically what we want to do for every single group of waves that we've joined together. I hope you understand. And if you did understand, you should end up with something which looks something like this. Hopefully, natural looking waveforms. The last style I'll show you today is shallow water. For this style, all we're going to do is draw round organic shapes that vary in shape and size. And around these round organic shapes, we're going to draw even smaller ones, which in practice should turn out something like as shown on screen. You can't quite see what I'm doing because I'm using a very light pencil, and this is because you need to press really lightly, because then these are actually the white spaces of the waves, so you definitely don't want to be seeing it in the final drawing. This style of water is mostly found near the shore of oceans or in swimming pools. Next, in every single shape drawn, leaving a gap between what we shade and the edge, we're going to shade in the centre. Kind of like this. Do this for every single shape. Then, like I accidentally started to do, take your blending stump or your finger and blend everything, still keeping the gap between the lines and what you shade. Now we're going to start making a gradient, and to do this, working darker this time, we're going to shade in an even smaller shape, which follows the shape of the larger shape that we've already shaded in, to eventually make a gradient. If this is a little confusing, please look at the screen. Once our smaller shape has been shaded in, we're going to get out the blending stump, or our finger, and blend to make the gradient more smooth. And as a finishing touch, preferably the pencil this time, try to make sure that the reflections in the wave are as thin as possible. And once you're happy, we're finished. That is all the styles I have to show today. If you have made it to the end, thank you for watching. And an even bigger thank you to those who have supported my grass video, which is over 1,000 views now. This is crazy, and I've just received so much support in the last few days. It currently stands at 1,042 views, and although these aren't the biggest numbers, it is a very good sign of growth. And I've had massive amounts of support in the last few days, so thank you so much for that. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below, and also make sure to check out my most recent Speak and Stroll, which talks about AI and its impact in the creative industries. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Catch you later!